بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله الذي لا يبلغ مدحته القائلون ولا يحصي نعماءه العادون ولا يؤدي حقه المجتهدون والحمد لله الذي من علينا بمحمد صلى الله عليه وآله وبآله الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين واللعنة الدائمة على أعدائهم ومبغضيهم وغاصبي حقوقهم من ليلنا هذا إلى يوم الدين. أما بعد، فقد قال الله سبحانه تبارك وتعالى في الكتاب المجيد والفرقان الحميد: بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. أجعلتم سقاية الحاج وعمارة المسجد الحرام كمن آمن بالله واليوم الآخر وجاهد في سبيل الله لا يستوون عند الله والله لا يهدي القوم الظالمين. الذين آمنوا وهاجروا وجاهدوا في سبيل الله بأموالهم وأنفسهم أعظم درجة عند الله أولئك هم الفائزون. صلوات. We are here tonight to celebrate the birth of Abul Fadl Abbas alayhi salam. And because we have a very long program, therefore we will dwell with the subject itself directly without going into other details. There are three aspects of Abul Fadl Abbas alayhi salam which are normally known by all of us, but we haven't understood what actually is meant. So we would like to explain those aspects of his life. Inshallah ta'ala, with that many things will be solved. First, we call him Saqqa Sakina. Saqqa means one who supplies water, one who attends to supply of water is called Saqqa. That is the reason why when there is no rain, there are 2 rakat namaz which is called namaz of istisqa. Istisqa means praying for water, praying for rain. So Saqqa means one who supplies water. Because in Karbala, Imam alayhi salam asked Abul Fadl Abbas to attend to the need of the people there in his army who had no water. And Abul Fadl Abbas alayhi salam went at least twice to fetch water, according to the reports which are authentic. We are not talking of those reports which have been unauthentic, like that Abul Fadl Abbas brought water on the night of Ashura. That is not correct. Therefore, and because Abbas alayhi salam never fought in Karbala, for Imam Hussain alayhi salam did not ask him to fight. Imam alayhi salam sent him with a spear only to say, you go to the bank of the Euphrates, arrange for water to be brought in, and he gave him the mashk, as we call it, and he took the mashk, and he did not return alive. He never fought because the asking was for water. Therefore he is called Saqqa, Saqqa of Sakina, because the last mission that he had with him was for Janab Sakina alayhi salam, and that was the last of him. But more than that, he is known as Abbas Ba Wafa or Wafadar Abbas. Wafadar means loyal, and it means also faithful. Abbas Ebba Wafa. One who remains faithful and loyal up to the end, in spite of all the problems, oddities, adversities, is called Wafadar. And the third thing for which he is known is Abbas Shuja', in which he was brave, he was courageous. But these things are not as simple as one would just read and understand by referring to lexicons and dictionaries. These are very, very deep and profound subjects in akhlaqiyat according to Islamic science. There was a time once in Masjidul Haram, that means in Kaaba, Abbas ibn Abdul Muttalib, that means the uncle of our Prophet, not Abul Fadl Abbas, Abbas ibn Abdul Muttalib, uncle of our Prophet, Shayba, number 2, and Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam were sitting in Masjidul Haram. Suddenly Abbas started saying, "Who can be like me? For I am the one who controls water supply for the Hajis." It was true, because he was the custodian of Zamzam. That in those days Zamzam was not what it was today. Zamzam was supplied from the well, and he used to have the keys. So he used to control and monitor the supply of water. He was called Saqil Hujjaj, that means the one who used to supply water, Saqqa'ul Hujjaj. So he tried to take pride in that particular position. Who can be like me, who is a Saqi, supplier of water for Hajis? Shayba, who was there, he answered, he said, "No, my status is higher than yours, for I am Hajib." Hajib is a guard, a first attendant. Every court has the first attendant. If he approves, then you can enter the court, otherwise you cannot. That is called hijaba. He said, "I am the Hajib of Baitul Haram. If I don't allow in, no one can enter in. Therefore I am better." Now these two were actually trying to tell Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam that we are better than you are. Ali alayhi salam answered, he said, "If you want to go by standards, as far as who is better than the other, Allah only knows. Go by the standard, then I am better than both of you. For I am the first to have Iman in Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. While you were faithless, you were infidels, you were in the unbelievers, you were still kafirs, I was the first to say Muhammadun Rasulullah. Therefore, in Iman, I preceded you." That is one. Second, and I have faith in the day of reckoning, the day of judgment when you had no faith. Third, I have fought and struggled in the way of Islam with my wealth and also with my own soul. Now can you compare? So they came to the Prophet to give the judgment. The moment they came to the Prophet, Jibreel Amin came and said, "أَجَعَلْتُمْ سِقَايَةَ الْحَاجِ وَعِمَارَةَ الْمَسْجِدِ الْحَرَامِ كَمَنْ آمَنَ بِاللَّهِ وَالْيَوْمِ الْآخِرِ وَجَاهَدَ فِي سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ." Surah Al-Anfal, ayah number 19. How can you compare one who is simply supplier of water and one who is the Hajib of Baitul Haram with the one who had faith, who believed and fought in the way of Allah? La yastawun indallah. They don't compare in the estimation of Allah. La yastawun. Then Allah gives His final statement, "Inna alladhina amanu," those who believed, wahajaru, migrated from one place to another, wajahadu, and struggled and fought, fi sabilillah, in the way of their Lord, بِأَمْوَالِهِمْ with their wealth, وَأَنفُسِهِمْ and with their souls. أُولَٰئِكَ لَهُمْ أَعْظَمُ دَرَجَةً عِنْدَ اللَّهِ. They have the status in the eye of Allah, much higher than any other. وَأُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْفَائِزُونَ, and they are the one who have accomplished. This ayah, according to Sunnah and Tashayyu', refers to Ali ibn Abi Talib salawatullah. In reply to Siqaya. So, Saqqa itself is not a fadila or a virtue. Because in Arabs, during the Arab days, there used to be Siqaya of two types. One was called Siqayatun Silmiya, another was called Siqayatun Harbiya. Siqayatun Silmiya means in peaceful days to arrange for water supply, like in Hajj days, for example. There, of course, you become a custodian. Somebody makes you a trustee of water supply of Stanmore Jamaat, let us say. So the keys are with you. If you open water supply, you get water. If the trustee today is absent, people go without water, or so on. No. These are called peaceful days, where everything to arrange for is very easy. But there is Siqayatun Harbiya, Siqaya in the days of war, when it is not peaceful, like Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam coming to Siffin, Battle of Siffin. Before he entered Siffin, Muawiyah's army had already entered. And that bank of water supply, which used to be strategic, was under the control of Muawiyah. When Ali ibn Abi Talib arrived with his people, the army said, Ya Ali, there is no water supply possible because the strategic point is controlled by Muawiyah, and Muawiyah's army refuses water supply. Ali alayhi salam in Nahj al-Balagha says, I ordered that they have to fight because water is their birthright and no one can stop. Otherwise we would not have fought. Therefore there was a confrontation, and Ali's army took over that bank of Euphrates. The moment they took over, the army said, Ya Ali, now we should retaliate. The way they stopped, we should stop. Imam said, I have already decided. It is birthright, therefore you have to open it up for all, Muawiyah and others. He is called As-Saqi al-Harbiya. That means one who gave water in the war days, not peaceful days. So there is a difference. Abbas ibn Ali is a Saqi Harbiya. Saqqa in the days of war, not Silmiya. That means he had to go and struggle twice. And he fought in order to gain control over Euphrates and bring in water. And up to 7th of Muharram, water in the Khayyam of Hussein alayhi salam was brought in by Abbas ibn Ali. And the last struggle on Ashura Day also is Siqaya Harbiya, not Silmiya. That means Saqi, but Saqi in the peaceful and days of struggle. But that again is not enough. For Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Inna alladhina amanu wa hajaru wa jahadu. First thing is Iman. Then to be able to migrate, to leave from one place to another. The third thing is then Siqaya. Therefore Wafa comes in. Wafa means one who remains faithful up to the end. It is very difficult to understand this, but may I make it simple? If there is a man who cannot fight, who isn't brave at all, who has no courage whatsoever, to control that man in war is very easy because he likes it himself. In Gujarati they say, Joitu tune vaide ki du. We wanted the same way, the doctor prescribed the same thing. So when a man himself is not courageous and is not inclined to fight, it is very easy to control. But when a man is enthusiastic, is brave, is well known for his courage, is well known for his declaration, like Abul Fadl Abbas, for whom Amr ibn As, Amr ibn Sa'd told Hur, one Abbas, whenever I see him, I can't forget Ali ibn Abi Talib. One Abbas. Because of his bravery. To control a man from 2nd of Muharram till 10th of Muharram, one only, Hussein said, Abbas, you will not fight till I tell you. Inshallah, if God wills, we shall fight together. But you will not fight. Every time that he came in and said, Ya Hussein ibn Ali, Ya Mawla, give me permission, Imam alayhi salam. It's a very difficult thing. What controls is wafa, loyalty. Because Hussein has told me not to, I shall not. The day he tells me, I will do. This is called wafa, loyalty and faithfulness. To who? To Imam, whose obedience is wajib and obligatory. It's a very difficult position. For this position, Imam Jafar Sadiq salawatullah wasalam alayh, looking at the grandson of Hazrat Abul Fadl Abbas, whose name was Ubaidullah ibn al-Fadl ibn Abbas. Because Abbas' son is Fadl. That's why we call him Abul Fadl. Fadl had a son, Ubaidullah. Ubaidullah met Imam Jafar Sadiq. And whenever Imam alayhi salam used to look at him, he used to say, Rahimallahu Ammi al-Abbas. May Allah bless Abbas, my uncle, with mercy. Kana aliman wari'an faqiha. He was an alim, learned man, wari'an, guarded against evil. Faqihan, he was learned in fiqh. It cannot happen. Wafa cannot be there without fiqh. Wafa cannot be there without wara'. Therefore, wafadari of Abbas has a deeper meaning than simply saying Abbas ibn Wafa. Two. Third thing, shuja'. Islamic ethics is quite different than any other ethics and morals if you study. There they don't have two opposite terms for human qualities. They are always three. Try to understand the difference. You can't say bravery, cowardice or timidity. No. In Islamic ethics, they don't teach you like this. Being miser and being generous. No. It's not like that at all. In ilm akhlaq of Islam, the two extremes both are evil. The middle path that is struck, that is the ilm al-akhlaq of Islam. So when you talk of somebody who is a coward, you don't talk of someone who is brave against him. One who is coward against him is one who is foolhardy. Tahawwur, jubn. One who is coward is one who can never advance. One who is foolhardy, he tries to rush in where angels fear to go. So there are two. In between, there is a discerning person who knows when to control himself and when to advance. That is a man who is called a brave man. One who is miser, against him is not a generous man, but is one who is extravagant in Islam. This man is so miser, he doesn't spend upon himself till he becomes old. It is said that he has one leg in the grave, another in the gravy. You see? A man who has one foot in the grave, the other in the grave, is still greedy. That man is miser. Opposed to it, there is not a generous man in Islamic ethics. Extravagant, one who does israf. Spends where he should not spend. Overspends, excessive, extravagant. Here in between, there is a man who knows where to control one's wealth and where to spend. That is a man who is called generous and sakhi. This is why the Prophet said, the best path is the middle path. This is the meaning of Islamic ethics. Now, when we say that Abbas was shuja', it means he was neither coward nor foolhardy. He advanced where he should have advanced. A balanced person. A balanced person. Abul Fadl Abbas. People haven't understood. Today, some of us, not all of us, I say, some of us, if you tell them to swear by the name of Imam Hussain al-Islam, they will do it immediately. Because they say Imam Hussain is a cold man. Very cold person. Even in Karbala, we used to go, the shopkeeper would say, Wallah bihaqqi ra's al-Hussain. Not even bihaqqi al-Hussain. Bihaqqi ra's al-Hussain. That means I swear by the head of Imam. And sometimes they used to bring the criminals up to son of Imam Hussain al-Islam to say that I am innocent. And he would say, Wallah bihaqqi ra's al-Hussain. I swear by his name and by the head of Hussain. All lies. Then the government came to know that these people are afraid of Abbas only. And even in Karbala, they used to call him, Astaghfirullah Rabbi Atubule, Naqla Kufr, Kufr Nabashid. They used to call him Mukhar, means hot-headed. Mukhar means hot-headed. They would not come there. You tell him, now let us go to the son of Abul Fadl Abbas. Say, no, please. I admit whatever you want to say. Why? Because they thought that Abbas was very angry all the time. But that is not the point. The point is that Hussain ibn Ali salawatullahi wa salamu alayh has a different status. And Abbas alayhi salam has a different status. Didn't you hear when Malik Ashtar said, Ya Ali, at least in Jamal, I have killed more than you have killed the munafiqeen. If I count the names, the munafiqeen that I have killed, the hypocrites, they are more than you have killed. Ya Ali, this time I can take some pride and say that my number is higher. Mawla smiled and said, that is the difference. When your sword falls, it falls on anyone. When mine falls, it looks. If there is anyone in the posterity who is going to be a Muslim, it will not fall on him. It's a discerning killing. Killing of Hussain ibn Ali was different, and Abbas is different. But this is the reason why, where when you go to Karbala, you first go to Abbas, say, Mawla Abul Fadl Abbas, this is what I want. You take this hajat to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala through Hussain ibn Ali. That is why Abbas became Babul Murad and Babul Hawaij. You see, one Maulana was Allah ko kya zarurat hai? Why does Allah need to have someone as Babul Hawaij? One young man stood up and said, Maulana, if I wanted to come to you and it wasn't possible, you are not accessible, because you are Maulana, I am an ordinary man. Where will I go? I will go to someone who is nearer to you and say, can you please arrange for a meeting? Or if I want to appeal to you directly, I will appeal to you, say, Maulana, आपके बेटे का वास्ता, मौलाना आपके इल्म का वास्ता, मौलाना आपके भाइयों का वास्ता, मौलाना, you won't say मौलाना आपके भंगी का वास्ता. You won't say मौलाना आपके भंगी का वास्ता. Bhangi is one who cleans. Maulana, when we go to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we know we can go direct. But even if we wish to go and worship Him, we go through Salat. Why go through Salat? Salat is a wasila. Otherwise there is no need but to go to Ista'inu bis-sabri was-salah. Seek help by fasting and by praying. So we go to Him by fasting and by Salat. When we choose the personalities, we choose those who are nearer to Him, not those who are not even fit to be mentioned in His presence. So we mention Abbas ibn Ali. And Allahu Akbar. One of the Mujtahid writes in his lifetime that I was in Karbala on 8th of Muharram, and I saw young boys. They brought out a donkey as a shabih of Zul Janah. They didn't have a horse or anything. They brought a small donkey. And they brought forth one alam they used to call Al-Abbas. But they did not know Haz. They did not know even how to recite Marthiyah. But they used Abbas, and come out from home up to Haram. Some of them were so young, they were laughing. I mean, children are children. Some of them were laughing, some of them were simply jumping. So he said, I took some of them by the hand and said, you don't feel ashamed? It's a day of mourning, and you are laughing and jumping. And I just dispersed them and sent them back home. And the donkey also was freed. At night I dreamt and I saw Fatima Zahra Salamullah alayha. And she said, Sayyid, you dispersed the azar of my son Abbas. This means that Fatima Zahra has acknowledged Abbas alayhi salam as her son. Although she is not the mother, but she has accepted Abbas as her son. My son, Waladi al-Abbas, my son. Why? Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala answers your niyyah. Remember this. In this world, in this crowd of mu'mineen, which crowd we will never get, remember one thing. God answers your... You may be one, you may be alone. If your niyat is for Him, He answers. If your niyat is for publicity, for popularity, for riyah and showmanship, He does not answer. Even if you have billions. But if you don't have anything, you only have His pleasure, He answers. Remember this. This greatest strength is in winning His pleasure and His answer. No world power is the power without power of God. Remember this. Everything else is nonsense, transitory, will go away. The only thing that remains is power of God and power of Allah. It is for these reasons, my friend. The Fatima said, Abbas is my son. Why? Because when Janab Fatima passed away, of course she made a wasiyah that you will marry so and so for the sake of my young children. Thereafter Imam Ali Islam was free to marry any other lady. And he asked his brother Aqil that I would like to get married into a family whose brothers and sisters, that means a lady whose brothers and whose ancestors are proven brave people. That would have been enough. I would have asked Mawla, you already have a brave son, why do you want another brave son? Apart from Hassan, Imam Hussain alayhi salam, I'm not asking of Imam. He had Muhammad ibn Hanafiya. Muhammad ibn Hanafiya was no ordinary man. Muawiyah once tested him. He gave him an armor of iron and said, Muhammad, I understand that you are really strong. He said, yes, what do you want? He said, I want just to see how you can tear this off. He tore it off with 2 hands in presence of Muawiyah. And he said, if Ali could have produced son like Muhammad, and in Jang-e-Jamal, read Nahjul Balagha how Ali advises Muhammad ibn Hanafiya how to fight. So you already have Muhammad. You are asking Aqil that I would like to get married so that I get a son who is brave. That was not enough. He said he should be brave. to defend Hussein the way I defended Muhammad. That means I want one who is Saqi, who is Shuja' and also Bawafa. There's a difference. For Muhammad bin Hanafiya had his own ideas. Abbas had no other ideas but to serve Hussein alayhi salam up to the end. When Fatima Baneen came into the house, her name was also Fatima. She told Hassanan, that means Imam Hassan, Imam Hussain, that I have come as your mother, but I am going to be just like Kaniz of Fatima Zahra, and you are my masters. Antuma Sayyidaya, you are my masters. I have come as your mother, but I consider myself as a Kaniz of Fatima Zahra. And when Abbas was born, together with her other 3 children, she is known as Baneen because there are no daughters. Baneen is supposed to be the name of a woman a mother who has no daughters, only sons. Baneen, mother of sons. She used to call them and say, look, I have come as a Kaniz of Fatima Zahra. You will remain as slaves of Hassan and Hussein, although they are your half-brothers. In answer to this niyyah, Fatima said, Waladi al-Abbas, Abbas is my son. O Baneen, if you consider them as slaves, I consider them as my own, my son. Shaykh Mufid alayhi Rahmah writes in Amali that the Prophet said, Ay Fatima, Ya Fatima, you are going to be Shafi', intercession on the day of Qiyamah. What will you bring as wasila? Right? Mufid alayhi Rahmah in Al-Amali. Shaykh Mufid is writing that what will you bring as wasila? How will you approach Allah subhanahu ta'ala for shafa'at of the ummah? Fatima said, I shall come with the hands of my son Abbas. I will come with the hands, the cut hands of my son Abbas. Read Mufid alayhi Rahmah. Well, this is Abbas ibn Ali, ibn Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam. There is hardly any household in the Shia Ithna Ash'is where Abbas has not been mentioned. Whenever there is a problem, Ya Abbas. Dua, Ya Abbas. Nadr, Ya Abbas. Is it not true? Any problem. Zawar going to Ziyarah, Ya Abbas. Returned, Ya Abbas. There is no household which says we have escaped the obligation from Abul Fadl Abbas. So tonight we have, mashallah, 3 marriages. My prayer is that bihaqq Abul Fadl Abbas alayhi salam, ya Allah, that all these 3 marriages, inshallah, are happy, prosperous, and they live together long, healthy Islamic life, inshallah. This is our prayers. Bihaqq al-Abbas, not a small thing. For all these young ones, some of them I know, some of them I don't know. Some of them I don't know means I know their parents, I don't know themselves. But I know their parents. To their parents, I say, inshallah, on behalf of all of you, that inshallah these marriages will become Mubarak, inshallah. And to the bride and bridegroom, I say, inshallah ta'ala, we all pray that you have a very happy life. Of course, there is no time. But I've said one thing, that if any young man who wants to get married in London wishes to have some advice, he should come to me. I don't know why you are laughing. You see, there are certain masail of fiqh related to marriage which young people do not know, and they feel ashamed even to ask. They think, who shall we ask? If you ask someone to say, "Tane sharam nathi awa sawal puchis." But those are the questions. And then They always remain guilty within themselves that we are doing things which are not right, and they might be right. There might be nothing wrong in it. Plus, there is something special about society which I discussed with the bridegroom and explained to him. So, one of them came to me this time. He's not the first one, of course. He came to me and we sat and we discussed certain aspects. But this is an open invitation. It will help you to have a perspective, inshallah ta'ala, into the type of life that we can lead Islamic, and that culture, which culture is our own. It goes together with the Islamic teaching. Our prayers for you, inshallah ta'ala, on this night, and we'll now commence with the nikah. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.